If the first game breaks, we'll get you know let us put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, slides, through the game, tackle, this win it in. First year again, here for the first May. Can everybody keep it up 6 minutes?
Rocky Top! You'll always be.
Just look around. You got the mountains, you got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. You know, the old field of dreams. Yeah. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me? Yes, all right.
All good teams face adversity differently. This team especially does not like to lose, and I saw that today. There was definitely a sour taste in everyone's mouth, and we came differently to practice, prepared. We're preparing a lot harder this week. There's a lot on our plate. We're ready to attack.
Who got my back? I got your back. Who got my back? I got your back. Who got my back? I got your back. We play for another. We fight for another. Every fight, every play, every round. Hey, Tennessee on 2. 1, 2. Tennessee. Ball, that team ready. Ball, that team ready. Ball, that team ready.
Another shot, she'll love me again.
Run that back, turbo.
Make it a double.
Whiskey, whiskey, won't you go away? Come again some other day. Cause a memory came out to play. And I'm tired of it, tired of it. I don't wanna wonder where she been.
Where she at?
She was here, now she gone again. Now it's me and all my whiskey friends. And I'm tired of it, tired of it.
Yeah, dark brown skin, caught eye contact while walking in. Perfect timing, get beside me, now we locking in. She like, tell me how you want it, on the rocks again. What else? Little salt around the rim, okay. Feel to the top again. Fell back, now I'm back in it. Deal shots got me sending. Big rapper DJ ain't skinny, playing Richard Mille square business. See me in the club, two-stepping, diamonds around my neck, square dancing. You done made a gangster romantic, fiending for your love, I'm an addict. So addicted, ain't no we can do about it. Country motherfucker, I say what's up, she say howdy. Call you my little cowgirl, how you ride it like a stallion. Don't know why I love it, can't get tired of it. I'm on you bad.
Whiskey, whiskey, won't you go away? Come again some other day. Cause a memory came out to play. And I'm tired of it, tired of it. I don't wanna wonder where she been.
Where she at?
She was here, now she gone again. Now it's me and all my whiskey friends. And I'm tired of it, tired of it. Put you up and hide you on the shelf, I swear I'm through with you. You so hard to leave it alone, it's always something new with you. Ain't nowhere to get her gone, gone, gone. So I guess I'm gonna tie one on. She's so cold I had to go and pour you over ice.
Good Friday morning. Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name's Boogie Bentley. He's Coach Jay. Morgan Wallen's tired of it. You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of negativity. I'm tired of this fan base eating their own. I'm tired of talking about Arkansas. So guess what? We're going to flush it. We're going to flip the script. It's time. It is Gator Hater Week. It took us till Friday, Coach Jay. It took us till Friday to get to Gator Hater Week. You ready to take one to the game? I'm ready to. This fan base needs it, man. I'm ready for the Florida game coming up tomorrow night.
I'm ready to stomp out some Gators, man. Like, how much do you hate Florida? Like, I know you have been on record saying you hate Georgia a little bit more, but like, no matter what, I think all Vol fans would agree, like, Bama, Florida, Georgia, like that's the most wanted list right there, right? Like
look
that's
at
who
our
we hate
age.
the most. Yeah, yeah.
How many years did the East come down to Tennessee, Florida, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's been one of those stories in the past of who can run the ball the best. I know there's been a lot of hubbub about a lot of quarterbacks in this game, be it Nico, be it Graham Mertz, be it Lagway. but you gotta sit here and wonder on a Friday, is this going to be the tale as old as time? Is this going to be about the line of scrimmage, not about the quarterback game in the SEC? I tend to think, yeah, it's a line of scrimmage league. We need to get right in that fashion. I think we do. I think we win this game handily.
We're going to get into Tennessee, Florida. We're going to listen to Coach Heupel as he met with the media on Wednesday. We're going to give you some gambling advice, although we don't condone gambling around here. We don't condone that. Also, Scott Bennett's in the chat says, hang on, coffee, I need whiskey. We don't condone that on a Friday morning show either. But, hey, to each their own. We all have our vices. So if you want to pour a little whiskey on a Friday morning, who am I? Who am I to judge you? Tony Canada is here, says good intro. Somebody else was here and said, that music is effing awful. Hey, man, can't please everybody. Corey Aldridge is in the house. What's up, brother? Buck H is here, says just win. Just win. Man, winning cures everything. As angry as this fan base has been, people that have been clamoring to bench Nico, people that want to fire Joey Halsley. Guess what? Tennessee goes out and beats Florida tomorrow night. All that is going to be cured. It's going to be solved. Jamie's in the house, says, here we go. Roger Gerald is here. New Wave is in the house. Says, let's go gator hunting. Orange Sea Line, our friend, the negative Nico machine is here. He says, I hate Bama more. Do you really, or you just have to disagree with us? I think Gary just wants to disagree with us on everything. No, but it is good to see you in the chat. King Ball is here as well, says, I'm here, Boogie. Love the Friday morning show. We got some super chats. Let's catch up with you guys, man. Y'all being generous on this Friday morning. Those of you that like the Morgan Wallen intro, this is how we get it. We drop a $2 super chat from Billy Todd at 9:35, 30 minutes ago. Billy Todd for 2 says, Dorfy, dropping those custom Talking Balls emojis. Tony Canada is here. Says, BBS is kicked in, guys. I need help. We're going to, I promise, this is going to be a positive show. We're going to help you through that BBS. Don't you worry, Tony. Ron the Don for 10. I'm sneaking in at work, but it's still GBO. Out with the hogs, down with the long-tailed frogs. Gator, eat, hater, eating a green tomato. Let's get right, finish assignments, and alignment balls by Fitty. I love you, Ron the Don. Angry Titan for 5 says, Dorfy, he's the OG of the Dorfy. Tennessee 48, Florida 17. Statement week. Good morning, Vol fam. Cam Core for 10. Let's freaking go. Hashtag Dorfy. I'm in Athens hauling freight today in all Vols gear. GBO ready to put a beat down on Florida. I think we really learned from our loss. Well, Cam, if you're in Athens and you're listening to the show, I'm going to need you to just roll your window down real quick. Roll that window. I'm assuming he's got a man. It's how old we are. He's manually cranking that window down. All right. Now you've had time to roll that window down. Now I need you to crank the volume as loud as it'll possibly go. As loud as it will possibly go. I mean, I want you to blow the doors off of somebody. As loud as it'll go. All right, I don't believe there are good people that pull for Georgia. I think they're all terrible, ugly, disgusting human beings. I think it's just that no, there are no good Georgia fans, Eric. There are none. Appreciate the super chat, Cam. What were you gonna say?
Can we remix that? Like we need like a beat behind that, and like, you know what I mean? Like dice it up a little bit.
I would love nothing more. Little,
yeah, I'll figure that out. I'm gonna get on.
Let's not do it. See, we need the audience to do it. Like they created the meme of Nico and hype. Like I like when they clip and they turn things into a bit. I'm not smart enough to do it. Somebody put a beat behind that and we'll play it, man. Y'all, it's like Ron the Don. Ron the Don goes above and beyond. When he sends me a clip and he's hunting wild hogs in his backyard, that's hilarious. And he puts music to it. I'm going to play it on the show because it amuses me and makes me laugh. That's what this thing's all about. So, yeah, somebody put a beat behind that. Jeff Olson, member for 10 months, says, here we go. Tennessee on 2, ready for the Gators. Johnny Freeze, member for 21 months, dropping those custom emojis. We appreciate it. A little spooky for 2. Let's take shots deep and blitz heavy. GBO, I said that on Locked On Vols this morning. Why not play aggressive, man? I think if you had gone down swinging against Arkansas, this fan base would have been not happy with the loss, but they could have taken it a little better if we would have been aggressive. Mandy Hopper becomes a member of the channel. Shout out, Mandy. We appreciate you. You guys can hit that join button. It's only $1. We keep the lights on around here. It's how we get to do this Friday morning show. So shout out, Mandy. We appreciate you. Being Banjo's in the house. Bob Dorfy, nothing makes the work day better. We'll get you through it. Tune out your boss, put in the earbuds, and let's have a little therapy. Heupel's hype man, Jeff, for 2, starting to hate Georgia almost as much as Bama. Yeah, you're in good company here. Sean Cross pops in, drops a $25 super chat. Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. That's Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top!
Shout out, Sean. We appreciate you. Missed you on Tuesday night. I actually messaged him. I found him on Facebook and messaged him. We had a good conversation last night. Sean's a big part of the channel. We appreciate you, brother. David Hall for 20. That's Orange Boy.
Rocky Top!
David says, I hate Florida the most. Dating back to the Phantom catch. We have had the better team too many times. Yeah, we'll talk about that too. Battered ball syndrome, this rivalry, what it means. But again, for people that's our age, man, it was always Tennessee, Florida. The winner of that game won the East and went to Atlanta. That's the way it was. Vols girl is here. She drops $88. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Top donation of the early Friday morning show. Let's play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Who was it in the chat saying they wanted whiskey? Somebody in the chat said they wanted whiskey instead of coffee. I think Vols girl may be drinking a little whiskey this morning too. But we appreciate the very generous super chat. She says, let's go. It's Nico time. I think she's dropping dual 8s there for Nico. But what do you think? We're on the same page all the time when it comes to references. There's no way you'll get this, but maybe you will. When you hear 88, like what comes to your mind when you just hear the number 88?
I mean, when I just hear 88, I think of wide receivers. I think of
I knew you'd go for
88 from Necessary Roughness, the little Australian rugby kicker dude in Necessary Roughness that catches the touchdown at the end of the game to win the game. Yeah. So that's what I think of. I go right to football references. It's funny with that movie, like maybe once every 3-4 years, I'm like, Miss J, you got to watch this movie. It's a classic. And about a quarter of the way through, she rolls her eyes and she's like, Coach, you made me watch this movie like 15 times already. That's
not up there with the program, but it's up there. Like that's a
hilarious.
Good one. Yeah, that's a good one. See, I knew you would go football. I knew you'd go. I knew you would think a wide receiver because that's what you think when you hear 88. Everybody in the chat, Matt Marr says Dell Jr. Barnyard Build says Marvin Harrison. This one makes me want to puke. Eric Jones says Michael Irvin. But 88 miles per hour. I am the biggest Back to the Future junkie. Like right over my head, there's Marty McFly, Funko Pops, Luke Stalker. 88 miles an hour is the first thing that came to my mind. I knew we would miss that one. Hondo T for 5. Sorry, guys, can't hang around. My chopper is 5 minutes out taking supplies into North Carolina. GBO, we are mountain strong. Appreciate what you're doing, Hondo. You're a hero, brother. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Keep doing your thing. We appreciate you. Thanks for dropping in, my man. Hope everything goes well with that today. All right, let's flush this thing. Let's get into Florida. Look, we can sit here and we can drown our sorrows and we can go back and we can look at this prick. Look at this guy. What an absolute jerk.
What a jerk.
What an absolute jerk. I don't even want to play the clip.
What a Gerald.
What are you going to do when somebody gives you $88 and all you want to do is insult them?
I know.
I mean, are you kidding me right now? $88.
Let's refund them 2 cents.
I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that.
Let's refund them 2 cents.
I wish I could deny two pennies and send them back to Brad. I guess we'll play the clip. All right. This is the most miserable I've ever been when somebody handed me $88.01.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Y'all are nuts, man. Y'all are nuts, Brad.
Oh.
Brad for $88.01 says GBO Vols by 50. Traveling for work this week. So here's my super chats for the week.
But wait, hold her beer.
And Vols Girl says here's $88.88. We're going 8 quads.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
I'll even play this one because this is what Vols Girl just said to Brad.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
See, that one makes me happy. Vols Girl for 88 says, boom, Brad, get out of here. Brad, lose my number. Get out of here, Brad. Matt Mars says Brad's on the clock.
Love it.
Banjo says 88 miles per hour. I think Banjo got it.
The only way to beat it is $888. Brad, I'm just saying, Brad. That's what I'm going with.
See, Brad just tucked his head between his legs and he's running off. He's like, I'm out. I'm out. She just dominated me. I'm inferior. I'm out of here. Balls girl, you're crazy. Brad, you're crazy. Brad knows I'm giving him a hard time. I appreciate it. Y'all very generous. Very, very generous. It blows my mind the way that you guys support this channel. We appreciate you. Let's move into this Florida game. And again, I don't want to go back and I don't want to be miserable and talk about how bad Lance Hurd was, this, that, and the other. I don't want to talk about okay.
They were bad.
Let me try this again. What do we need to do different tomorrow night, Coach Jay, to come away with a win?
In my simplest form, let's go right to good old Vince Lombardi. Just block, just hit, just run, just tackle. If you do that, there is no question what the answer to this game is going to be. Keep your poise, and UF will fall, man. We'll take care of them. It's that simple, man. Just do the basics. We did not, and like I said, we're not going to get into it, but we need to execute this week. We did not execute. I know we're going to get into it when you release the Coach Rice and I's, game prep video.
Coming up later today, guys. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
We're going to do it today instead of tomorrow morning. So be looking for that.
Yeah, so I don't want to give all that away there, but we just didn't play a full game of football really in any phase, to be honest. So we need to do the basics. We need to go out there and execute. And I know there's a lot made of play calling and all this. And yeah. I believe in a lot of what everyone's been saying. But I also believe that no matter what we're doing, even if we're just running dive, right? Even if we're just running dive, bubble screen, I can talk. Execute, man. We weren't executing last week. Let's execute this week. This team can execute. I believe that, and I think they will show us that.
I posted a clip, the little Choppity app that I use now. Shout out Kaner for hooking me up with that. And it, just clip together Coach Rice talking Wednesday night. Keep it simple, stupid. Like, and I get it. Again, guys missed assignments. I still think Josh Heupel coached conservative. I don't care what people say. People tag other YouTube channels and say, "Boogie, you need to watch this. They're going to straighten you out. They're going to straighten you out. They're going to teach you a little something about ball." Well, guess what? I still think Josh Heupel coached conservative. But I liked what Coach Rice said. Keep it simple, stupid. Like, and we even talked about it immediately. Like, it was so obvious. We talked about it immediately on the post-game show. When you're using 6 or 7 to protect, and they're still getting pressure. And then, Coach Rice just kind of dumbed it down. Like, win your matchups when you have the numbers advantage in the box. If you can't win in the box and you're having to protect with 7 guys, it's real tough for 3 guys to beat 6 or 7 in the secondary.
And not only that, it wasn't even always about a lot of times it was about them getting beat, but there were also times where they just didn't execute the correct blocking scheme in that play. They were lost for whatever reason. I don't like that, but they need to
how difficult is it, though?
Man.
How difficult is it when they walk seven guys up to the line of scrimmage and the offensive line is trying to communicate and understand who they need to block? Because one of the ones that frustrated me was Sprague's. I mean, the linebacker, it's almost like the linebacker just stood there and said, "Come here, dummy. Come on, dummy." And then the linebacker finally drops back in coverage, and Spraggins is just like, and he's just out of the play. Like, you have automatically eliminated one of the 7 that you're protecting with. Is just standing there useless, not blocking anybody. What does the offensive line have to do? Where does the communication start? It starts by calling out the mic, and then where do you go from there? You got to figure out your responsibility. What is causing this confusion? Is it that complicated for the offensive line to figure out who they're supposed to block and what their assignment is? When the narrative was that Arkansas has not shown this all year. They changed up their defense for Tennessee. They talked about it post-game. Hey, they showed us something we had never seen before. What does that communication look like? What are they trying to pinpoint and figure out what their assignment is? Why is it so complex?
I don't know if I don't know if it was a scheme, but something confused them, and they got lost on their primaries, their secondary assignments, right, where their help should be. So they just got turned around for whatever reason, and this team knows how to do that. This is a veteran offensive line. We've seen execute this before. So it's not so much, I think they know how. I just think they crapped the bed and didn't do it. I mean, I hate to just call it that simple, but it certainly can be corrected in my point of view. I mean, if you want to talk about tackles being out of shape and tackles being maybe injured, yeah, I'll listen to all that. That could be valid, and we'll find out a little more about both of those guys, I think, this weekend. They've gotten challenged. I heard Kaner telling the story and got a big smile with you on the Kaner show where he was talking about the punt that he blocked in practice, right? the 15-yard penalty he got. And man, I can't tell you how many times, not only that I've been roasted by a coach and they keep rewinding it, but by how many times I've rewound it for one of my players and, asked them if they've ever seen a game of football before, ever watched one on TV or knew what this oblong object I was holding in my hand actually was. But I guarantee you those guys were challenged in front of their teams privately, and they need to look in the mirror and they need to answer that call this week. And that's kind of the bottom line as I see it.
I love it because there's no way when Josh Ward's on or one of these other media guys, the Locked On Gators, if any of these people are on, there is no way that Kaner's getting drugged through the mud and telling old high school war stories. Only I can bring the best out of Eric Kane over at Locked On VAWLS. YouTube user, that's a great name. YouTube user becomes a member of the channel. We appreciate that. Thank you for the support. We're on that drive, man. We're on that membership drive. I say it all the time. What are you going to do, son? My dad said. Man, that sounded like my autobiography. What are you going to do, son? My father said. When they stop supporting you financially, I said, Dad, I'm going to go back and work for the man. But you guys don't stop. You keep supporting, and we appreciate it. That's why we get to do what we do. Dim Barnyard Bills, this is a great super chat. $5 super chat says, can you tell me why we don't run outside? I understand numbers in the box, but it looks like the outside zone or toss play is open often. And even if it's not for me, with my dumb football IQ, I just think when you run outside, it keeps the defense honest, man. Like that was one of the things after the game. People were saying, man, the defensive ends were crashing all day long because they knew that Dylan Sampson was getting the football. And even if it's not Coach Jay's favorite play, a little power, but I think a QB power, but more specifically, I think Nico just keeping one. But he did not keep one the entire night. And it's like, well, why am I going to stay home and contain when I know he's going to hand it off every time? You keep one, now they got to stay honest. Why is Tennessee? We've not seen them run outside a whole lot since Josh Heupel's shown up on campus.
What's been the problem for us, Boogie? What were we just talking about?
Tackles.
What's on the outside? Tackles, right? Now, do I think there are ways to circumvent that? Yeah, sure, right. We can have tight ends come in or slot wide receivers come in and kind of crack from the outside, help set that edge. I know Coach Rice has been putting in that work and showing some plays he would like to see, some pretty nifty shifts and crackback block schemes out of tight ends and ships out of bunch. I feel Coach Rice on that. I think they can get creative in the way they give those tackles some help in running the ball to the outside, and I'd love to see it this week. I think we can see it, some jet sweeps with a kick out, changing the numbers even more heavily in your game like you talked about. If we think about the power play that scored all the way back against Iowa with Dylan Sampson leading the way on that power play, if we think about the power play against NC State where Nico scored, or even the Oklahoma one that Nico eventually would, I think, slide, even though he probably could have got to the end zone on that play. I mean, what did he pick up, like 40, 50 yards there, something like that, 30, 40 yards? It just seems like every time they've run Nico on that designed kind of quarterback counter power, whatever you want to call it, it's worked really well, and it keeps them off, honest. But I also think some true read option would keep them honest. I think you'll see some of that this week. I do think that Nico is a huge threat when he runs the ball. It's definitely a huge part of what made him good. So he needs to get back to, we need to get back to doing what Nico does well. Make them respect the run game, make them respect Nico rolling out of the pocket. Nico is especially dangerous when he rolls out of the pocket. We've seen a couple long passes he's completed on the rollout. I know we kind of got a tough break on that first play of the game last week on that initial rollout. But we need to get back to doing what we do well.
So many comments in the chat that I like. Papa J talking about going back to tempo. That's I agree 100%. They need to go back to who they are. The problem is, like the play that Coach Jay just mentioned, first play of the game, you got Andrej Karic roaming through the desert somewhere 10 yards downfield. Now it's 1st and 15. When you have a penalty, ideally you complete that pass. Go. We're going. You got to win first down in order for the tempo to truly work.
Yeah, and one of my notes pre-Oklahoma week that I really loved that Nico was doing for this offense was, and I get the competition, guys, I get that, but just bear with me for a second, is penalties happen in Heupel's offense, and they usually are a death sentence to a drive because of the tempo and pace and rhythm. But we were pushing through that. We were getting penalties and still moving the ball and scoring through it. That ended, and we kind of got back to how we were before when it'd be an immediate death sentence. So, yeah, we need to clean up the penalties. We also do need to push through it. So both, like we like to say, Boogie, two things can be true, right? We need to rise above when mistakes do happen, and we also need to clean up said mistakes.
I also like the comment from BG. I lost it here. Where'd it go? Work the quick game. Yeah, if your tackles are struggling, guess what? You get paid $9 million a year to figure out, all right, how do I score with what I've got? So that's on Josh Heupel. This is devastating. First, let me hit this super chat from Tyler Maxwell. $2 super chat. He says, "Free Nico. Vol Nation is here. Gator hater." I agree. But it's comical. Like, I want Nico to have that game. I want him to be that dude. And maybe they do. Maybe Nico has that game by running the football, but I think this is going to be a Dylan Sampson game. This is, man, y'all are off to the races. YouTube user drops a $90 super chat. He says, "Balls Girl for 88, and then Brad for 8801, then Balls Girl 8888. He said, "Nope, I'm the king of the mountain. I'm going to drop a $90 super chat." We'll play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
I feel like I got to throw this one in there again.
To be the man, you got to beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here.
YouTube user for $90. Y'all, what sparks this? Y'all going crazy on a Friday morning, but I'm here for it. I appreciate it. He says that's not a player number. That's just the average number of days probation given to a Florida Gator. Thank you, YouTube user. That is insane. YouTube user walks in here, joins the channel, supports us that way, then drops a ridiculous super chat. Now this breaks my heart.
Oh,
because Sean must be on a delay.
Oh, no.
On a delay. He's watching on a delay, and he has no idea what's going on. Sean Cross wants to take the leaderboard, but he comes up $1 short. So we'll play this clip.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll play the other one.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Sean Cross says it takes a man to be the man. Back to driving now. Oh, my gosh. He called attacking her for being a woman. He says, "I'm a man." And good old Nate Pruitt comes in here with his cowboy hat on, riding his horse.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 million man.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Make the decision. You're either a Vol or you're not, through thick and thin.
Good old Nate Pruitt, man. Y'all, man. I think they are drinking whiskey this morning. I think that's what's happening.
It's the best, worst, best, most awesome, terrible, terrifyingly great fan base in the whole world, man. And as much as sometimes I want to hit y'all with rocks, I just love you to death and wouldn't trade any of you for the world.
Gary's calling me a grift king. I didn't do anything to grift any of this. These are generous people supporting what we do. How did I grift? Now on Tuesday nights, maybe I grift a little bit.
Gary likes to poke the proverbial bear, but that's all right, Gary. That's all right, Gary. He
if we blocked people just for
Go ahead.
I was just saying, if people accuse us of blocking people that we disagree with, can you imagine? Like, there is no way on God's green earth Gary would still be in the chat if we blocked people that had a differing opinion than us.
Listen, I hope I speak for Boogie when I say this. I will always, and we will always accept criticism, but we will never accept disrespect. And I'm never going to agree with overreactions either. I will always point out when I think it's an overreaction. I want things to be proportionate reactions. I don't want to kill someone because they had a bad game as a freshman. Now, like I told Boogie the other day behind the scenes, we having this conversation week 2 of next year, and there was nothing but regression every game after that game, then it's a different conversation. I'm going to have a very measured, very pointed response to what's going on. I always want everything to be the correct amount of criticism or close to it. I never want to have just such a huge knee jerk that you're Chicken Little and the sky is falling, you're Will Ferrell running around screaming Spumoni with bears chasing you or something like that, you know.
that you just took a turn. Like I was with you, and then we're in left field somewhere. Good old Nate Pruitt. By the way, we didn't even read his super chat for a Hondo. Top donation of the night. You know what breaks my heart about this one? He was 1 penny away. Well, 2 pennies away from being the top donation of the month. But that's all right. Nate, you're crazy. And he said, no whiskey for me. It's all coffee this morning. He says, well, I see you're 90 and raise you. God bless and go Vols. Hey, I talked to Kevin yesterday. We're working on it, Nate. We're working on it. We're trying to get that shirt done. We're working on 2 T-shirt designs at the same time. So hopefully we get that God bless, go Vols out soon. All right. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Man, sometimes you just don't know how to respond to people's generosity. Like I just don't, I don't know what to say. Where were we? We were talking about Nico. We had a good conversation Wednesday night after the live stream. Coach Jay and Coach Rice come back on. We filmed the breakdown that's going to go up later today. And Coach Rice had to bounce me and Coach Jay just talking straight up Nico. And it's like, if you guys think Coach Jay has some narrative where he comes on here and he's got to defend Nico, like the conversation we had off air is the same as what he says on air. But one of the things we talked about, and I want to kind of bring that conversation to you guys, is Nico's confidence. Has he lost some confidence because there were some guys open? And we can talk about progressions and reads and where his eyes are supposed to be and all that stuff. We can speculate. I don't know if people really know where his eyes are going to be. You can probably figure out that Sampson is your last read on that last play of the game, right? You can probably figure that out. But what do you think about Nico's confidence? He seems, and he said the right things post game, right? He said they asked him about his tackles or his offensive line and taking the sacks. Does that impact you? No, my guys have my back. My guys are going to step up. They're going to protect me. I'm not worried about that. He seems to have some happy feet. He didn't have that earlier in the year. After the NC State game, he had the 2 interceptions. Whether that's on him, whether it's miscommunication, y'all can argue about it in the chat. I feel like Nico has lost a little confidence. What are your thoughts on that? And if he has, how does he get it back?
I thought that he had happy feet. I understand why he had happy feet with linemen either blowing assignments, the run game not working, take any pressure off of him. However, and there is a however, and this is why I kind of downgraded his grade on rewatch, is there's I love you too, Gary. I really do. I like disagreement. I love respectable, fun disagreement and banter, and it's one of the reasons I really, really love going back and forth with Gary. He can even make me think about my opinion and, you know, self-diagnose what I think myself. So I do really appreciate you, Gary. All right, but
I'm gonna be a jerk real quick. Jerk real quick.
Yeah.
If you're gonna roll into the show and you're gonna say something like this, spend the whole show talking about super chats instead of football, go cry somewhere else. If somebody donates $100, guess what? I'm going to read their super chat because they're being very generous. So if you got a problem with it, guess what? There's other shows on YouTube that you can go watch, and you don't have to super chat because there's 3 people in the chat, and you can go have a great time there. You're welcome here. We value your opinion. But if you think I'm not going to read somebody's $100 super chat and read your stupid comment about this, get over it, man. People are donating to the show. They're being generous. We're having fun. We're having a good time. You sound like a miserable human being. You should probably go somewhere else and find content to watch because we don't need you here. So get over it. I'm sorry, Coach Jay. Sometimes you got to call an asshole out. That's right. I said it. I hope Coach Rice isn't listening and yelling at me right now.
Coach Rice is like, oh, he said it. He said it. He said it. Just don't let X hear it, Boogie. Don't let X hear it.
Yeah.
All right. No, but going back to what I said, the line, yeah, I get why the happy feet started. Like, I totally get it. And anyone who doesn't get it has never had, a bunch of 6'4", 300-pound dude moving at them full speed with no one slowing them down. But with that said, there were moments where he could have bit down just a little bit more, found that next read or right read, and gotten the play done. There were moments where he did do it, moments where he didn't, but guess what? He's the quarterback. We lost the game. At the end of the day, you're going to fairly criticize and point out the ones he missed, not the ones he got. I get it's just part of the game, and that's how it should be. So there are moments where he needed to bite down, and how he gets past that is just with honest recognition of what needs to be done through film room, execution on the practice, and then completion on the field on Saturday, right? It's easy to talk about confidence. I almost would like to use the word momentum. His momentum was changed in the Oklahoma game. We pulled off the brakes. The offense kind of never got clicking again. Now, we can argue competition. That's fine. We can argue that all we want. But the offense kind of pulled the plug. We got in slow-mo. We have not gotten out of that slow-mo yet. We need to get our momentum back on offense through tempo, through all these things that we've been talking about. That's how Nico gets his confidence back, is by switching the momentum, by executing at a high level.
Let me catch you back up for Super Chats. By the way, Silver Slicker, enjoy it. Enjoy it. You have been, man, everybody has a voice except for Silver Slicker. So I'm going to read Super Chats, and he can't do anything about it. He can sit there and cry. Will Dyer for 2 says proportionate fire Halsley.
I'm going to really
I don't think Will's gotten over it yet.
Picks later.
Good old Nate Pruitt, member for 24 months. Appreciate you, Nate. It's hard to gain confidence when you are working on limited ability in play calling. Dylan Elam for 5 says, read this Super Chat too, Boogie. Thank you, Dylan. You want me to read it again? Dylan says, read this Super Chat too, Boogie. Preston Porter for 20. Super Chats make this show so much more fun. GBO, and God bless Talkin VAWLS and this community. Shout out, Preston. We appreciate you. I hope you guys understand. I don't ever expect anybody to donate anything. I don't. And the big thing for me is on Tuesday nights. There's like 30 people in the chat sometimes. And I just read chat all night long. I read chat all night long. You guys have questions. We talk. We hang out. It's a good time. Sometimes we're live 4, 5, 6 hours. Those people complaining are never there Tuesday night to just hang out and talk ball. But when you guys donate, I'm going to read every single Super Chat because you are giving your hard-earned money to this channel to voice your opinion. So I'm going to read that. And if people have a problem, that's why people roll around the internet and say, all Boogie cares about is money. Why? Because I read $100 Super Chat instead of reading your comment that didn't cost anything. Like, do you understand the difference? Most of you do. Most of you guys understand it. And, you guys see all show long. I sit here and do this right here. I try to highlight member chats because you guys, even if you give $1 a month, I try to highlight your opinion, even though we don't necessarily read it. But I do the best I can. I try to make everybody happy. I try to have a good time, and I get it. I'm rambling about one hater, but I just hope that you regular listeners understand. I appreciate every penny that is donated to the channel. Bob, member for 15 months, says Talkin VAWLS Network, by the fans, for the fans, by the fans. One way or the other, keep doing what you're doing, Boogie. We appreciate you, Bob. Appreciate your support. Valuable part of this community. Let's do you want to finish up with Florida, and then we'll go do betting odds, and then we'll do Heupel's press conference. So any final thoughts? Of course, your breakdown's coming later today, so don't spoil some of that. But any final thoughts as we tie a bow on a must-win game? We talked about this Wednesday night, must-win game. We beat Florida twice in the last 19 years, and I know as a coach, you're going to say that doesn't matter. That doesn't impact Josh Heupel, doesn't impact this team. What are your thoughts on that? 2 times in the last 19 years. I've got an eerie confidence about this game. That's just me.
I feel good about this game. I think Tennessee is going to come out with their hair on fire. I expect them to execute at a high level, and I expect them to have a good game plan this week. I think we got snake bit. I think we got caught a little flat-footed. I think the team came out on Monday with a serious edge to them, ready to practice and with a clear goal. And it's a lot easier as a coach, as a football player, to shake these things off, guys. I promise you, because you have the field, right? You have your work that you can throw yourself in. You don't have to sit back and think, "Woe is me." You actually can go out there and do something about it. Boogie loves to play the quote, right? People like to talk about, people work to be great. I can't remember the exact quote. What's his face?
Wait,
Drop the mic
what?
on that. What's that quote? How's it go? Dang it, I can't remember it. It's some people want to be great, some people work to be great, something like that. I can't remember it right now. It's too early on the West.
99% of the people in this world want to be great. Would you agree with that? Yeah, they're called wannabes. 1% work to be great. Drop the mic on that.
Yeah, yeah, too early for Coach Shea to be memorizing quotes, I guess. But yeah, he nailed it, right? They don't have to. We and not calling all of us wannabes, but in a way we're we're wannabes because we want Tennessee to be great. They actually get to go out there and work to be great and pour themselves into that. And to quote the program, the great Joe Kane, the reason football is so great is because you can lose yourself into it. The whole world around you just disappears. Like that's it. That quote is so dang true from that movie, because when you get out there and you're working to get better and you're focusing, everything else just disappears, man. All that matters is that game in front of you.
Let me catch back up with you guys. Let's see. I got Preston. Appreciate you. Banjo, member for 15 months. The Super Chats make us the voice of the common fan. Well, I mean, I've said enough. I can't stand when somebody comes in and whines and gripes and complains because I'm reading. You guys paying to have your voice heard. It drives me nuts, man. Tim Armstrong for 5 says, hey, fellas, thanks for all you do. Let's go beat the Gators. Y'all said everything is still there for us. We lost and still ranked number 8. Exactly. Yeah, and I think we talked about it Wednesday. I think I talked about it with Kaner. Nobody's saying that Alabama's season's over. J.D. Pickell still has them at the top of the college football playoff mountain. And it's like they lost to Vanderbilt. But we're ready to burn our program to the ground because of a loss to Arkansas. You're right, Tim. We still have everything to play for. I knew Coach Rice was listening. I knew it. Says for $5, but you're going to laugh your tail off. I literally came in from break and started watching right when you called somebody an asshole.
Get him, Coach.
GBO, fight for 60.
Get him,
Sometimes
Coach.
you can't help it, Coach Rice. Sometimes you can't help it. That's what I always tell you after the show. Sometimes you can't help it. Ron the Don for 5. Long-tailed frog steaks like chicken. Ball family, we got chicken dinner at 7 p.m. Saturday night. Bring a take-home plate. Go, man. Ron's that type of dude. GBO. Not only does Ron feed you, but he's going to send a plate home with you so you can eat leftovers the next day. That's a good friend. Ron's a good friend. Bull for 5, welcome to the Talkin Coach Jay show. Just something else to read for the Gator fan complaining. GBO.
Talking Coach Jay.
I wish it was Talking Coach Jay. I'll sleep in on Friday. I'll give you the password. You just sign in here and just forward all the super chats because that's all I care about. Make sure you forward those to my bank account. And
I don't know. I feel like I might turn into Will Ferrell as Ricky Bobby getting interviewed with my hands up the whole time. If you weren't here, Boogie, I'd be like, "Hey guys,
somebody's got to be the clown
welcome to the
in front of the mic."
Talkin VAWLS Network.
Somebody's got to be the what are they called? The ringmaster? Is that what they call the dude at the circus?
Nico is good. Please don't bench him. I swear. Don't throw stuff at me.
when you and Coach Ross are going to do the breakdown, I told my wife, I was like, I'm just going to let them do it. I said, I'll sit in the back room. That way I can hit record and be ready to edit it and all that stuff. But I'm just going to let them do it. She's like, who's going to take the lead? She was like so concerned. And she loves Coach Jay. She loves Coach Rice. She loves what they add to this channel. She's like, who's going to be you? Like, who's going to intro? Who's going to roll through things? And I'm like, maybe I should do it. And both of these guys were like, thank you, Boogie. I don't want to be you. I just want to get on here and talk ball. Oh, goodness. The Talking Coach Jay show. Let's move into some gambling advice. We don't condone gambling around here. But if we did, these would be the picks that Coach Jay would recommend. How'd you do last week, by the way?
Terrible. I
Oh,
think
no.
I might have lost every game. It was bad, and I've been hotter than snot most of the year. Like something like 5-2 almost every weekend. I had one weekend that I was undefeated. I think it was week 2. But man, last week I couldn't pick a booger, man. It was kind of like, hey, Coach Jay, what are you betting on so I can bet the opposite of what you're gambling on last week? So once again, gamble responsibly, and my opinion is just my opinion. So do your own homework, of course. But with that being said, early in the morning, the first game I like is Missouri. I like the Missouri Tigers -27 versus University of Massachusetts. I think UMass is just a horrible football team. I think Missouri's had a little bit of time to get their stuff straight. Not that I think Missouri's going to solve everything immediately. It's more about how bad UMass is than how great Missouri is. I think they handle UMass really, really easily. I think they back into that number, even if they come out conservative. So I think that's a nice, strong play right there. And I feel good about the Tigers. Moving on. There you go. Texas, Oklahoma. Let's talk about it. And yes, I get there are some parallels in this game in a lot of people's eyes between the Tennessee game. This is a huge rivalry game. This number is almost never covered in this kind of game. I think it was a 12-point spread last year with Texas favorite, and Oklahoma actually won the game. I don't think Oklahoma wins this game, but I do think they cover the 14. I think they lose by about 10, about the same margin they lost Tennessee by. Go ahead and give me Oklahoma in the points in this game.
Wait a minute. How do you pronounce Missouri?
How did I just say it? Did I say Missouri? Missouri?
I wonder if you said.
Missouri?
I don't know. Somebody it didn't even register with me, but somebody said
I lived in Missouri, by the way, for 18 months, 17 months.
I bet you said Missouri. I bet you said Missouri.
I called it misery, man. It was terrible. I had the worst time when I was in Missouri. I lived in Kansas City on the Missouri side, and it was easily, and I've lived at quite a few places, New York City, LA, Sacramento, San Francisco, Huntington Beach, Newport, California, Nashville, Tennessee, a couple other places, but Kansas City on the Missouri side was easily the place I liked the least out of the places I've lived. With that said, the next game I like Memphis over South Florida. Yep.
Why is that locked? Why does it show everything locked on that?
It's probably off the board for some reason. It's not on my sports book, but I can tell you the line is sitting at 6.5, at least on my sports book. It is. Wow, Coach J is sitting. That's hilarious. I like the old paste pecani sauce commercials or whatever, where they're like, New York City, get a rope. That's the chat right now, trying to rope up Coach J because he's a city slicker. All right, so Memphis, 6.5. I like them over South Florida. South Florida is having a problem with an identity on offense right now.
Wait, what?
They've
Alex Golesh?
They've only scored one touchdown in each of their last 3 games. They are having huge issues in the red zone. They can't score in the red zone. They're being held to field goals. I think it's something like 85% of the time when I looked it up this year. So they're just really, really reeling on offense. But let me be clear when I talk about this. I think Alex Golesh is a great offense coordinator. I'm not like attacking him in that way. I just think for whatever reason, his team's struggling. He's the head coach too, not the OC. He's got other things to worry about. Yes, it's his system, but he's not the one actually calling plays, at least to my knowledge, from what I've read. But they have been struggling on offense, no doubt. I think Memphis gets them here. The next game I like, moving on, is
I just scared myself. I thought I backed out again. I'm on the right page. Sorry.
I like Kentucky. The Kentucky Wildcats minus 13.5 over Vanderbilt. I like Kentucky in the spot. I think Vandy comes back down to earth. Reminds everyone they're the same team that lost to Georgia State a couple of weeks ago. I like Vandy's quarterback. I like the team. I think they got fight for him. I just see it as a huge letdown week, and a letdown week against a stout defense is usually a recipe for disaster. I like Kentucky to win by 17 in this game. I know a lot of people probably might disagree with that after last week, but that's just kind of where I'm landing on it. After looking at it, the next game I like is Ole Miss -3 against LSU. I get the spread being low. It's LSU. It's kind of a later game, so it's going to fall at night. We all know the LSU fans like to get a little rowdy later in the day, so I get that. I just think LSU is not very good this year in general. I know they've lost Perkins, their linebacker. I know that game's kind of like hiding. It's definitely after the Kentucky game. That's weird.
Yeah.
There you go. I thought it was after for some reason. But anyway, I like LSU. I like Ole Miss. Let me clarify. I like Ole Miss in this game. I think they get it done here. I think they got a little more firepower than LSU. I think LSU's got some larger issues on both sides of the ball. On to the Tennessee Volunteers. And I've thought about this game a lot. I know how like Kaner feels. And Josh Pady, I think, even said it on his show. This is one of those games where it's like you look at it and you're like, come on, man. Florida always covers these numbers. And I know I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth right now a little bit with Oklahoma, and I get my orange shaded sunglasses too. But I like Tennessee to cover this number. I think they're going to come out madder than a hornet. I like betting spots in football, and I think this is a great spot for Tennessee. That doesn't mean that we're impervious and can't lose this game, guys. If we come out and don't execute like we do against Arkansas, we will lose this game if Tennessee comes out and executes like that. But if we come out and play hard and execute as a team, we will win as a team, and I think we will win this game handily as a team, or at least by the numbers, shall we say. I think it's close early, but I think Tennessee pulls away in this one.
Did you say they cover? I was reading 17
different
things.
I did. I do. I think it's one of those games where Vegas is setting a trap for the public.
Vegas doesn't react emotionally. They don't react emotionally.
No.
Caveman Boy for 2 says, Door Feed, GBO, we appreciate you. Knoxville Predator Catcher for 5. Coach Jay, why do you think Nico is so hesitant when he leaves the pocket? Multiple times he has wide open field and he cuts back inside and falls. When you're saying he cuts back inside and falls,
yeah, I'm trying to. Nico that's why I stopped, because I'm trying to address, think about what Knoxville.
That feels like 2 questions. When he cuts back and falls, I don't think Nico likes to slide, and they're telling him to slide, so he does. He's like Hendon Hooker. He falls down awkwardly.
Thank you for saying it for me. I do think he has been told to slide after the game where he wasn't sliding. I said it after that game. I said, I don't want Nico sliding. I want him running aggressively. That's who he is a runner who, yeah, he's wiry, but tries to finish runs. I think ever since he's been told to hit the dirt, he's been awkward, I guess is what I'm saying. Knoxville.
Just like Hendon. It was the same thing with Hendon.
Yep. And so I get that. And, I think I know a lot of people are joking, free Nico and all that, but I do think they need to take some of those constraints off. Just let him be Nico and play. And I think if that happens, then that will get cured.
Let's see. Tim Armstrong for 5. I need to have a cooler name. What y'all think about Tennessee Tim or Tim the Tennessee Tornado? I like Tim the Tennessee Tornado.
Yeah, that's 100%.
That's 100%.
My vote. Yeah,
that's my vote. We're rolling with that one. Appreciate the super chat, Tim the Tennessee Tornado. Look, I'm going to make Coach Jay work some overtime today. We're still going to watch the Heupel press conference. We're 54 minutes in. Coach Jay, you have permission to leave if you don't have time to hang out.
I'm good.
I want to
good.
show you guys this. You can also support the channel by picking up merchandise. You know, if people flip out about a super chat, they're going to blow a gasket if you guys go pick up merchandise at bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. All kinds of fun shirts, lurker shirts. This is we got some clean shirts too, like that aren't just, we got a lot of trash talk shirts, but stuff like this, Knoxville, Tennessee, still has that Talkin VAWLS network on there. But check it out, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Perfect time to pick up your Gator hater merchandise. Let them know. Also, get geared up, get ready for the Florida game. FUGA, Buck Fama, all of it's there. If you're like, dang, Bookie is offensive, he called somebody an a-hole earlier today. We got clean ones too. We got shirts that just say beat Bama, beat Georgia, beat Florida. So you can pick those up as well if you don't want to wear something that's offensive. But again, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Links in the description below. Appreciate all you guys that pick up merchandise. And support this channel, man. Whether people get mad or they yell at me or Gary calls me a grifter.
You grifter.
We appreciate all you guys. All right, let's jump into it. We're going to listen to Josh Heupel's press conference from earlier this week as he shifts the focus to Florida. We're going to pause and react. That's what we do. You guys got something you want to say? Change the topic. You know what to do. Let's get into it.
Hope everybody's doing great. Morning got off to a good start with the guys. Obviously, it's the opportunity and time of the week where you look back at the football game and how we get better. Whether you win or lose, it's important by the time you go out on the field with the guys that you flush it, you move on, and as competitors, you're only as good as your next one. Everybody in the building disappointed with the outcome on Saturday night. You can't do anything about that at this point other than take the lessons and push forward and continue to grow as a football team. And, so in that way, no matter what happened the previous week, you got to move on. Guys were good, took the information and had good demeanor out on the practice field. So important for us that we get off to a good start and prepare the right way, just like it is every single week. For us this week, coming back home, excited to be back in Neyland Stadium. It's been a month since we got a chance to be in there, playing there, and see our fans. So looking forward to seeing them. We need to create a great environment. I know we will, like always. We need to have the Neyland effect in effect on Saturday night. And, it's our responsibility as a football team to prepare and practice the right way to go play. But our fans need to be a huge part of the environment and the football game as well. So looking forward to it. Florida's playing their best ball right now. They've continued to get better throughout the course of the season. That's really in all three phases. Defensively, long, athletic, have speed. Offensively, both of the quarterbacks are playing really good football right now, and offensive line is really solid. So I'll open it up for questions.
Him talking about coming back to Neyland. I made a recruiting video yesterday, and I know a lot of people don't want recruiting coverage in the middle of the season, but I'm still trying my best to sneak it in there when I can. Like we've not had a home game since Kent State. And really, I mean, you look at who Tennessee's played, it's like Chattanooga and Kent State at home, neutral site game against NC State, and then 2 road games. This is a huge opportunity for recruiting. And I know David Sanders put it out on Instagram, and I'm glad. I love to see it saying, hey, stop calling me. I'm a Vol. I'm a lock. I'm dialed in. I don't know. Did we say this? Even if we said it on there, it was late Tuesday night when Jaden Lofton's uncle texted me I think it might have been while we were playing. I can't remember. He texted me and said, Jaden's locked in. Like, he ain't going nowhere. He said, Jaden said to let the Talkin VAWLS family know, quit calling. I'm a Vol. Like, it's a big opportunity, though. David Sanders will be back. George McIntyre will be in town. Shady Hayward, who just took a trip to Georgia, will be here, right? So I don't know how much I know you follow recruiting. I don't know how much you're prepared to talk about it. Number 1 tackle in the country, going to be in town for the class of 26. Number 1 edge rusher in the country for the class of 26, going to be in town. How many times when we were doing film breakdowns or we were doing recruiting live streams, recruiting videos, whatever the case may be, would I read a quote and it's like, well, I was there for that Alabama game. I was there for the Georgia game. This is another opportunity.
It's a huge opportunity. There's huge recruits coming in. You just mentioned the number 1 tackle. In case you haven't looked around, we'll take all the tackles we can get right now, guys. I know we got some good ones on the way. And I believe we got some young good ones too already on campus. It just doesn't mean you can wave your magic fan wand, and then they're good immediately when they step on the campus. But we need to keep building that depth, right? I think Boogie was right on the other day when he brought up Rodney Gardner, and look what Rodney Gardner did in building this template for all the other units to get to. Because I'll tell you, if we get every position group as deep as this defensive line is, this team's going to have a lot of trouble with Tennessee. So we need to keep pushing towards that. We're not quite where we need to get yet. We've got some work to do, but we are much closer than we were a couple years ago. It's why comments like Fire Heupel are so discouraging when you look at how far we've come and how much they've built. Yeah, we're not there all the way yet, and we're not to where we can be perfect yet, but I do think we're in the car driving down that road.
Foul Ming, member for 31 months, Ming Stream Media, says, number one thing you'd like to see from the offense this week, number one thing you'd like to see from the defense this week. Go Vols. That's all I know. That's all I know.
Oh, and go ahead.
Foul Ming sent me another clip of Ron Slade just going, he was basically saying that Billy Napier had to tell his team that this was a rivalry game. And he's like, if you got to tell them it's a rivalry game, you ain't got a prayer when you come to Neyland State. Oh, it was just typical. Number one thing for me, offense, defense, I'm going to cheat and give you the same answer for both. Be aggressive. Be aggressive on offense. Be aggressive on defense. Tim Banks' defense, I think it thrives when you're bringing pressure and you're playing aggressive and you're not playing to lose. That's mine.
Yeah, I want them to play aggressive on defense. I don't want them to play so aggressive that they overrun their gaps on the D-line, because we got ran underneath on last year against Florida. So they're going to try to do that again. But, yeah, I want to still play extremely aggressive. Don't want to get into it too much because I talk about it in the breakdown of the game. But I want to see the secondary play tight on these Florida wide receivers. A lot of inch technique, a lot of press technique with safety help.
I gotta clear something up with the chat. Bob and Tom are I think they're mad at me. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about I'm on a platform, I'm on a channel, I'm talking. I'm gonna take breaks and I'm gonna promote myself. I'm gonna take breaks and I'm gonna promote my merch. I'm not saying you guys. I'm just saying I can guarantee you right now that Kaner's not on Locked On Balls going, by the way, did y'all see that new shirt Boogie dropped? Go check it out. VolQuest is not doing that. 247 Sports. So when I'm on the platform that we built, I'm gonna promote our merch. No, I'm not talking about you guys. Tom, I think Tom has more Talkin Balls merch than I do. So I appreciate you, Tom. Like, I think this guy's mad at me too. He said, if you can't handle criticism, you soft. I don't think saying stop reading super chats is really criticism. I don't think that's really criticism.
No,
that's a cool emoji though. I like your cat. It looks cool, man. Let's hear more from Josh Heupel.
It doesn't feel like the last few games you all been able to establish any kind of tempo. Is there something going on that's keeping you all from being able to get to tempo? Have you been able to pinpoint it? And then, kind of where do you feel like the struggles on offense the last couple of weeks have resided?
Yeah, this past week, offensively, you look at the football game, so many self-inflicted wounds, pre-snap penalties, playing penalties, miscommunication. So at times you're not playing on tempo. In the course of drives, when we've wanted to play with tempo, we've been able to do it and play efficiently. DSAM's big run. There's multiple instances of it. At the end of the day, you got to play smart, effective football. The prior week, I certainly slowed things down in the second half and played a different style just because of the flow of the football game and trying to play all three phases together. For us, we got to do the ordinary things at a really high level. Last week, we didn't do that very well. The week before that, we did a lot of things really well.
Josh, on pass protection.
I just want to say, you caught that, and he said it before. There's a clip that we had before where he says it. The ordinary things, guys. That's what wasn't happening in the last game, and it's, in fairness, it's probably why some people are so pissed off as they are, and why a lot of us are pissed off, is because these weren't the big things. These were ordinary things. These were everyday execution things. Just hit, just run, just tackle. You know what I mean? Stick in the pocket as long as you can. Go through your reads. Don't get sucked in as the defensive end and let them bust a 40-yard run at the end of the game. You could go on and on and on and on about those little things, the inches that we need in game of football. We need to do the ordinary things at an extremely high level. I don't think we need to overthink this thing. I just think we need to do exactly what Coach said. We need to do the ordinary things at an extremely high level.
My beer mug. Do I have a beer mug?
Do you? Tom does. He's got a Stein. Yeah.
I did have that Power Tea mug that I drank out of a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if that's what he's talking about or if he's talking about this, but this is just, dude, this is a Stanley before Stanleys were cool.
Ooh, watch out.
Like, remember when Stanley was the working man? It's like my papaw carried the Stanley to his job for it. And it's like, now it's like,
I
like
carry a
wife and daughter.
souvenir cup from every Tennessee game I've been to. So I got like the 2016 Florida Gator commemorative cup. I got the South Carolina one last year. I think I got one from the Rose Bowl back when they played UCLA, although that game didn't go very well. Jonathan Crompton kind of crapped the bed. But anyway, moving on.
By the way, Timothy, I'm glad Timothy popped in. Or drops a $10 super chat. Says, Boogie, you're missing out on the VFL thought like Will Overstreet, Kevin Simon, Eric Ainge, Chief Schuler, Crompton. They're saying the same thing as I've been saying. I finally watched that, Timothy. I didn't watch the whole video. I watched the opening of it. And I thought you were talking about that Coach Heupel has a lack of confidence in Nico. I listened to the first couple of minutes. Just to be honest, it's not my type of show. I'm not a fan of dudes wearing suits standing around in front of podiums. Like it feels like I'm the little man down here looking up at them. That's just not my type of show. I know VolQuest, they sometimes do a show, the Rocky Top Round Table. Is that what they call it? Where they wear their suits and they look professional. I love VolQuest, but I'm not.
I know the show. I don't really dig on it either, which is weird because I like all. I mean, obviously, I like all these players. So
Overstreet said that there was a lack of confidence in the offensive line. That I agree with. But be fair, Timothy, I didn't watch the full clip. It's just not my thing.
You just got to, everyone was asking too a minute ago. So let me just tie this into what we're talking about too with the offensive line. People were asking me about the USC Penn State game and what I think about that. Yeah, I think Penn State wins. They're not on my betting board because every time I've bet on Penn State this year, I've lost. Even in obvious spots that they should win, I've lost. The only time I won money betting on a Penn State game this year was Illinois covering against them because they've covered every game this year. But look at USC. They've got a great quarterback, a real gunslinger back there. But every single offensive lineman is not very good for the Trojans. And it's just killing that team's offensive identity. And this is a team with an elite wide receiver core, a super, super good quarterback, great tight ends, no offensive line, no fun.
Shout out to Brian Staley in the chat. I got to call Brian out because y'all were just talking about him earlier. Mr. Staley, do you understand you put this entire fan base into panic mode with one simple tweet about the transfer portal? They were all terrified. They were all concerned.
Everybody panicked.
They were ready to burn down couches, man. It's good to see you in the chat. Hope everything's going well. We're waiting. We're ready. We're ready for Braylon and his time to shine, man. We're excited. It's good to see you in the chat, my friend. Rocky Top Tom for 5 said, exactly, Coach Jay. We beat ourselves against Arkansas like Oklahoma beat themselves against us. It's foosball. Sometimes we got to put on more steam. Well, we got the opportunity to do that. And by the way, shout out to Mandy in the chat. She's got Cultivate, Gator Hater, Buck Fama, Kentucky's Daddy, driving 6 hours for tomorrow's game. Enjoy the game tomorrow, Mandy. Let's hear more from Josh Heupel.
Protection. When you look back at the film, were the issues more pre-snap or post-snap? And why have odd fronts giving you guys issues?
Structurally, that's what the last couple opponents have decided to play against us. Certainly capable last week of attacking and performing better than we did, in the run game and in the pass game. Again, some of the things that we control, not taking anything away from Arkansas, but some of the things that we control, we did not handle very well. And, you know, you heard me say it already, but communication was a big part of it. And then the penalties, you know, just changes the way the game's played. Too many 3rd and longs. You know, so we got to be ready, go attack what we see on game day.
Kind of following up on some of that defensive structure. I know you've seen every defensive structure against your offense for a long time.
Yeah.
Is there anything that the last 2 weeks have done to make?
I just love that response because everybody's like, oh, you know, Arkansas did the same thing. Oklahoma, they've got it figured out. Blah. And he's like, yeah, I've seen this before. It ain't my first song and dance.
Yeah, it's not like they just did the first time they did the disappearing man trick in front of people and he's just flabbergasted. You know, it's something we've seen. It's been an execution problem last week. Communication, perks your ears up because we've talked about it, right? We talked about how we didn't hear that this offseason, and it's all we heard last offseason, right? This is kind of the first time we have heard that this game. So it makes me feel like it was just like we crapped the bed for a game. We'll see if we can move past it and communicate well in this one, or we'll find out if it's going to be the start of a more nagging issue. We're about to find out.
That those guys are making it harder on Nico, that it's harder for him to decipher because of what they're doing in the back end.
No,
that thing.
Nico played really well a week ago. Clean in his decision making, decisive, accurate with the football. This past week, you know, first play of the ball game, rips a nice ball. Sum of all parts as the game
Boogie,
went
can I ask you a
on,
question?
we didn't play as clean.
I want to ask Boogie a question.
I get nervous when you do this.
Because I went back, you know, you gave me some tools. So I went back and watched what we're calling our all 22.
The poor man's version of all 22.
The poor man's version of the all 22 and watched the Oklahoma game. I know a lot of people disagree with what Coach Heupel said right now about Nico playing a great game against Oklahoma. Now, that's a game that I actually upgraded his play after I watched that version of that game.
Wait, go back. I was banning the troll. I let the troll hang out long enough. I say it all the time. If you want to be a part of this community and add to the community, that's awesome. I'm not here for other fan bases to come in and troll, so that's over with. Sorry, I was reading that. Go back. Start over.
Yeah, just the all 22. You know, I think I graded Nico like a B- after the Oklahoma game. It's hard to say because, like Coach Hype said, he pulled off the reins, right? It was openly admitted in public. But what Coach Heupel just said right there, he thought Nico played a great, clean game against Oklahoma and executed at a high level, or however he put it. I don't want to put words if I misspoke right there. But he said he played great or good or whatever he had said. I went back and watched the all 22 version of that. Actually changed my mind. I think I upgraded him from a B- to more like a B to a B+. Watching that game, I kind of wanted your thoughts on the Oklahoma game from Nico's perspective.
Yeah, I didn't think Nico played bad against Oklahoma. This stupid thing just reset on me. Numbers wise, 13-21, 194 yards and a touchdown. I think, you know, again, when we talked about that game and you came out with a win and you're talking about how, you know, Heupel pulled back the reins, that's fine. Like, was Heupel conservative? Yes. I have not felt like Nico played bad until the Arkansas game. That is the only time. Even the picks against NC State, like I don't think he played great. I don't think he's played great really at all, other than, you know, the inferior opponents, Kent State, Chattanooga. But I don't think he's played bad until the Arkansas game. And I don't think he played good against Arkansas. I don't think he played. I think he missed open guys. I think he looked nervous. You know, we talked about the happy feet, and look, I get it.
I agree.
There are reasons to that, right? There are reasons why. If I walk up to a par 3 and it's surrounded by water, all of a sudden that shot gets a little bit harder than if I've got a wide open fairway and I've got to hit an 8-iron 155. That's easy. I can do it in my sleep. But all of a sudden there's circumstances that changes the way I react. And I think that's what Nico's doing, is he's reacting.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Nico is getting to the point now where he needs to take that next evolution, that next step, right? He has proven he can dominate at the high school level. He's proven he can dominate at the non-SEC level. Now he needs to go out there and solve that next puzzle as a player. And we are all sitting here going, all right, when's Nico going to solve that puzzle at a high level? Because I think a lot of us see that he has the talent and the ability to do so. Now the question is, can he? Sorry, my cat just ran across the screen. Go Big Orange, everyone! Go Big Orange! All right. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah. So that's just going to be the next evolution for him. Now, when does he solve that? That remains to be seen. Do we see progression? Do we see regression? All this, I will call a spade on here. I really do urge the audience not to overreact as well.
Is around you.
I like this comment from Foul Ming. And this is something that me and Coach Jay talked about again off air Wednesday night. What if Nico throws a game-winning touchdown instead of running out of bounds? How much would we have looked over? We would be talking about it the same way as Arkansas.
I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, you still say he played bad, but the overall perception, all these people saying Nico, we overpaid. He's not worth it. We need to play Gaston more. And I get it. Those are the emotional reactions and probably the vocal minority. But yeah, if he throws a touchdown there, everybody's calling him a hero. They're calling him a hero and how he led the team, put him on his back, and blah, 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 blah. Timothy for another 5 says, and Nico having freshman woes and play calling for the piss poor blocking, there are ways to scheme for that. I agree with that. We kind of touched on that earlier, Timothy. I don't know how long you've been in the chat. It's on Josh Heupel. If you don't have confidence in your tackles or in your offensive line to pass protect, you got to scheme it up and get guys open. You got to figure it out. That's why Josh Heupel gets paid $9 million a year. Nico having freshman woes, he's a redshirt freshman. He's a young guy. But look, it's 2024, and because that NIL number is floating around the internet and everybody knows what it is, that the expectation for Nico is to be perfect and never make a mistake. That's just the way it is. I'm trying to figure out where we're at here because it closed down the entire window.
Some of all really high in the play of Lance and Campbell.
Okay, here we go.
Josh, how would you assess the play of Lance and Campbell at tackle, and what's the next step for them? What's really important for them this week as they continue to try and take that next step? Yeah, love those guys, believe in those guys. Those two, like pretty much everybody offensively, can perform at a higher level. As we go and have performed at a higher level than they did the other night. And some of that's just ordinary things, fundamentals, technique, lineman assignment, and technique.
Coach, specifically on the Arkansas's pass rush, was that more a result of communication, just flat out one-on-one battles?
Some of it was just one-on-one battles.
A lot of it.
Some
of it was 2-on-1 battles.
And it's easy to be Monday morning quarterback, but that last minute, I think
you're the lead Monday.
You're right. Guy. I'm leading the charge.
Okay, first string.
You hit the big play to Dante.
You know what's irritating about that comment, Boogie, with the 2-on-1 battles that we've been losing? We've been doing that trope. You know how like you see in movies, you'll see a sword fight and like the bad guys take turns fighting the hero, when in real life you would just attack them together and stab them in the back. It's like that's what we were doing. It's like, okay, Sproggins, you go whiff, and now I'm hurt and I'm going to go whiff. No, combo block him together and work into your levels. Good gosh almighty. Anyway.
The most infuriating one to me was Hurd and Kitzelman. Like, dude, what are you doing?
Was that the play where Nico moved Kitzelman over to the correct side and then he like fell down, or was that a different one?
No, I think Kitzelman was split out wide and then he motioned in right on Hurd's hip. But when I remember he steps inside and he almost bumped into Hurd. And then the DN just like, oh,
yeah,
okay, free reign. And then Nico spun and rolled right, and Spraggins got beat too. So it's like, what are you gonna do, man? What are you gonna do? I like Heupel's reaction here after Monday morning quarterback. That makes me chuckle.
Okay, first
minute. I think
you're the lead Monday. You're the first.
You're
string
right.
guy.
I am. I'm leading the charge.
Okay, first string.
You hit the big play to Dante. Looking back, do you wish you'd called a timeout there, or were you just trying
to at the end of the game?
Yeah.
In hindsight, yep, for sure.
as I recognized that we weren't immediately ready, thought about going to timeout. Then I thought we were ready to get the ball off in the next couple of seconds. And, every timeout at the end of the game creates a different scenario where you're not pushing the ball into the end zone, forced to push the ball into the end zone. So, yep, absolutely.
Looking at Florida, what are the challenges?
I like that he owns it, that he didn't take.
He
It's like, and it's stupid because it's such a dumbed down thing, but it's like playing a video game, playing EA Sports College Football. Time's running down. It's the end of the game, and you're thinking, all right, I can go. I don't need to call a timeout. And then the next thing you know, it's like, holy crap, 25 seconds just ran off the clock. Like, and I know those are two different things, but at the same time, like, it's a real thing when it's, man, the game's on the line and he thinks, all right, big play, we can go. The clock stopped till they reset the chains, and then it's like, I thought we were ready to go there, but we weren't. Like, like, what are you going to do? And then by that point, it's too late. It's easy to look back and go, why didn't you take a timeout, you idiot? Well, because I thought we were going to be ready to go, and then we can sit on that timeout, take another shot, and now we got 2 timeouts, and we're in the red zone. But hindsight's 20/20, and it costs you a lot of time.
Yeah, it's really
preparing for it.
Go ahead.
I just say, yeah, it's so easy, and we all know this, guys. I'm not saying anything special here. It's really easy to sit here in armchair quarterback and rewatch the game, with the bird's eye lens and point out every little mistake. We all know what a difficult game football is to actually execute in real time on the field, and the ones who don't need to rethink what they're watching.
Got a lot of idiots in the chat this morning that I'm having to. I think this is the most people I've ever banned on a Friday morning show. I don't get it.
Did you ban that one guy that was smoking crack?
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Okay, moving on.
Or 2 quarterbacks, and if you would, can you kind of break down what each of those guys do well?
Yeah, I think both of them have played smart football. They've been accurate with football, in particular, the last couple of weeks. They both operate within the system extremely well. Both have the ability to run the football and move and extend and make plays. The young kid is dynamic with the ball in his hands.
Interesting comment. I agree.
You mentioned Florida's defense. Against their game against UCF, Tyreek Sapp had a really great game, getting sacked the quarterback, I think, 5 times. What's kind of the game plan as you get ready for a quarterback or a defense that does like to blitz as well?
Yeah, they're multiple in what they do. That's their fronts. It's their coverages on the back end. It's the pressures that they apply. And they can get to the quarterback with just a 4-down front too. So, for us, communication, understanding where we're working to, recognizing the pressure that can be, the front 5 guys, it's your back, it's your tight end at times as well. All got to be in sync. And then you got to play, good football. You got to play with fundamentals and technique and win your one-on-one. But another part of that is going and winning on the outside, doing it quickly, and quarterback being decisive. All 11 guys got to play together.
Weird, right? Win as a
Josh,
team.
Dylan said after the game, he
team.
thought that maybe you guys were going to be a little lackadaisical during the open date. You obviously harp on routine.
Did you see that sign?
Yeah.
It's like, gosh, Dylan, what are you doing? Why have you put me in this situation?
Yeah, we already PT'd him for 8 hours over that comment.
It's so funny. You can just see the look on his face. He's like, oh. So funny. So funny.
Preparation quite a bit. Did you sense anything different in your team's prep, either the extra week or even going into last week?
I thought Tuesday's practice bye week was really good. Wednesday's was a different type of practice. I thought our preparation was solid last week. End of the day, we didn't go perform the way we needed to. So that's personal accountability and team accountability.
Does Josh Heupel just think we went out there and crapped the bed and didn't execute and played a bad game versus Arkansas? Sounds like it to me.
Is there any update on Squirrel and Brew at this point to start the week?
None of the injuries are long-term season-ending injuries. As we go through the week, we'll find out exactly where everybody's at. You guys can look forward to the injury report on Wednesday night. Thank you, buddy.
See y'all.
Dude, I love Coach Heibel.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
Coach Heibel, man. That's so
Yeah.
funny. I saw AP actually put out on VolQuest that Brew's got ligament damage. They're going to split 2 fingers together, and they've got a custom-made glove. He's going to try to give it a go.
Brew's a tough guy.
Squirrel is not a collarbone. This is why I hate when people go on Twitter and they post like they know something is fact. These people that want to break news. That's why I'm never going to pretend that we are some type of insider. I'm never going to try to break news. I hate when they do that because somebody put it out, breaking news, Squirrel out for the year with a broken collarbone. That's not the case. AP said it was an AC joint in the shoulder and that he is going to try to give it a go, but he's questionable. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think it's big. Hopefully, you get those guys back, even if not this week, hopefully sooner than expected, because I know a lot of people thought Squirrel was done for the year and that Brew was going to be out for quite some time. So I love that Coach Heibel with the injury report. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we tie a bow on it?
Just, watch football, enjoy football, love your Vols, root for your team. Think of that Vitello quote. You got to be with us through thick and thin. We can call a spade on here. Everybody, including me, let's try to respect everyone's opinions. Let's not try to overreact. Let's try to make sure we have fair criticism, and let's make sure we respect these kids and this coaching staff. And if you are going to this game, I hope you have your hair lit on fire. I want you to make it as an electric as environment as possible. We don't need anyone booing any players during the Vol Walk or anything like that. We need to be one heart, one mind, one team. We need to go out there, play hard as a team. We need to go out there and win as a team together. We need to set this thing right.
I got an eerie confidence, man. I got an eerie confidence about this one, and I know people, it's the Gators and history and blah, 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 blah. I think this team is going to respond. We'll see how. I see somebody in the chat ask me if I think Nico comes out. He says, what do you think Nico takes off this weekend? Diego Robinson says, I hope so, but I really think this is just a Dylan Sampson game. I really do. I think huge opportunity. They've struggled to stop the run, especially in SEC. Man, it's like 300 yards and 250, something ridiculous. So I think Dylan Sampson has a day on Saturday night. We got the game day breakdown coming later today. We're not going to post that on Saturday mornings anymore. We're going to try to do something a little different. I know a lot of people like to watch College Game Day, SEC Nation, all that type of stuff on Saturdays. So we're going to drop the game day breakdown later on Fridays after this morning stream. I appreciate you guys. I'm grateful for you guys, the way you support this channel. And I know it's bad. I hate yelling at people and blocking people, but it's like I said earlier in the show, I'm all about community. At one point it was all about subscribers. I got to have the most subscribers, the most views. That's out the window. I want to have the best community for Tennessee football anywhere on the internet. And we're trying to build that here. So if a troll comes in and they attack people, or they're putting Rico in the chat and all that nonsense, I'll ban them and move on and get back to talking Vol football. When trolls come in, you guys get hung up on the trolls instead of talking Vol football. And I want to talk Vol football. So I will ban every single one of them. I will ban people that attack people. Like Coach Jay said, everybody has an opinion here and you're welcome to it. But when you start making it personal and going after people, good riddance, man. You can go somewhere else on the internet. You can troll and be whatever you want. And they'll say, thank you, sir. May I have another? Not here. We ain't doing that here, because this is for the fans, by the fans. For Coach Jay, my name's Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.